Hello, this is Greta, and welcome to something completely different. This is a replay in the Open Brood War replay viewer of a SCHNAIL match, a StarCraft Human AI League match. So the SCHNAIL is the human, and Purplewave here represents our AI overlords, obviously playing Protoss because we have to give them a chance, right? So, without further ado, here we are. So why here? Because you will soon notice that when Purplewave requires some more units to be controlled, their APM will go above 20,000. And that breaks regular Brood War, even in Remastered, which is of course a grand work of sophistication. So here I believe this Zerg is Iruyan. He's an old school. He has a different name that I forget, but it's Iruyan and No Hunters, and it will forever remain that. So the point of this is to showcase how far along Brood War AI has come. This isn't some silly Google thing. This is a community effort. This is I've seen I've casted games of Purplewave before. Yeah, there we go. The APM's already going to a comfortable 1,600 because a single pylon had to be placed. And yeah, so these AIs don't cheat. They use the information that they see and interpret them. They have some instructions in terms of build order, but I believe they are allowed to iterate on that, and they do iterate a lot. There's quite a few AI projects that overlap, and a lot of these AIs are involved in multiple projects. But here versus humans, of course, they play a little differently, I think, versus their AI counterparts or brethren. Yeah, sure. We're using. So okay, that might be a gateway. The Open Brood War view is a little different. I think I can zoom in or zoom out. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep this view. That's a forge. It knows, everyone. It knows. There we are. Yeah, the quality in full screen is probably it's a little because this is original Brood War, just scale the fuck back. Okay, so a bit of a let's see how annoying this probe will be. I'm actually quite curious. So it's spawning pool there. We have the expansion as it is versus Protoss, and I believe we already have 2 cannons straight off the bat. Okay, and then probably a gateway or even more cannon. Just to make sure those sneaky human bastards don't just fucking bum rush him. Yeah, that's gonna be another cannon. So making sure is the name of the game here. I think, of course, maybe they are a bit more. Well, that's a good guess. A couple of Zerglings coming out. They're gonna that probe. Is that gonna survive? Look at that avoid. Look at that avoiding macro. Look at the spazzing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I am fully for AI, by the way. Roko's Basilisk and all that. I'm just, but you failed. You can accept that failure, can you not? Or are you already angry? All right, so gateway finally up. So these lings are not gonna do much because there has been quite an investment in cannons here. Gateway there. That overlord is going to confirm that. Look at that impeccable shooting. It's yeah. It's eerie how precise and how well everything like this works. So, okay. Gas is going to be mine. We've got some things. Really curious to see what's going to happen here. Straight for that 3 base. No gas yet. Okay. There we go now. So going for the macro build here, that's fine. Not for a bust. A bust is very freaking difficult on this map. Especially with this already in place. It's not perfect, you know, but... Oh wow, that wasn't a cyber core. Roger that. Roger that. That is strange. That might be. I hope it is. That was a little too small of a... It's been a while since I've had to commentate without information, so it shows that I don't know fuck all. Okay, So cover, maybe, yeah. I mean, that cannon's gonna... If that is actually a thing, if it actually kills it... Oh, wow, okay. Just a little ill-timed. Already sending Goliaths, Zealots to that. That's incredible. Now the Cybercore's there. One Ling wondering what the fuck's going on. Oh yeah, wow, he's really... So, Aurelian definitely has some experience with dealing with these AIs, so just checking if he doesn't do something weird, like expanding really fucking fast. Alright, so Lair's going up. That's gonna be a Hydra Den. What is he going for? That's a lot of buildings. That's probably gonna be some tech. I want the one thing I'm wondering is, did he place down the cannon because this fired and he had an enemy unit in the base that is flying? I wonder. That's a Stargate, and it's immediately starting. That's Citadel of Adun as well. Some semblance of a build order. The building placement is what intrigues me the most here. So he never took speed on those lanes. That's good to know. So there's a Hydra Den. The Spire's following as well. Or, no. That's a hatchery, sorry. Yeah, because that isn't done yet. There's already some Zealots here. That's gonna... Man, everything's so small. Some slow Zealots, a lot of Lings. He's already retreating, so he recognizes that this is not a good fight to have. The Corsair's coming in, looking for Overlords. Does find one. Chooses to ignore that. Look at the control, look at the control, look at the jerky motions. He's actually scouting with it first. He's actually scouting for it first, not going for the first, because that was in range. He would definitely knew that Overlord was there. Pushing through, I don't know how long, yeah. Speed, yeah, speed is not going to be done. Actually moving in. Now that there's on the retreat, they're making these little motions. Dodging. Yeah, damage, not quite damaging the Overlord, so very aware. Wow, these are harrying this base. That's incredible. The Zealots still trying to push their attack here. Just start trying to bait these. Look at the circling. That's preventing that expansion. That probe's gonna retreat. That is nice bobbing and weaving there. Templar Archives. And the Overlord inside the base didn't get killed either. Went straight for this base. Now there's 3 of these Corsairs. But the Zerg here has done a good job corralling the Overlords. Look at this little twitching, 20,000 APM, so he's got some to spare. Finally going for that expansion, finally routing these Lings. Very aware of them. Alright, yeah, going for that. It's a lot of damage on the Nexus. That's a Dark Templar, though. That's gonna change things. Following that. Corsair still... Look, that's almost a taunting gesture, isn't it? Just flying through the Overlords. Alright. What are they doing with those Corsairs? Not really engaging with them. Is there any plan here to engage with these? That's strange. Is he just using a lot of Corsairs? He hasn't engaged with them at all. Just move commanding them. So the DTs are now pushing out everything. These Hydras have to pull back. He's just idling with these Corsairs. Now, at this point, I'm wondering how much information these guys get from scouting. Like, do they actually start counting units and say, okay, we better not push that because we're fairly outmatched? Yeah. Purplewave now going a little bit ahead in army. Okay, there's a breakdown here down below, by the way. Workers and army composition, so in terms of supply here. So Purplewave pushing ahead a little bit, but that doesn't mean much. There's a... Yeah, these Corsairs haven't really done anything. They're just biding their time, being annoying. Checking things out. Okay, so here comes an attack. There's an overlord here. Maybe getting caught out. There's a little bit of a flank here. That Dark Templar needs to die. That's doing a lot of DPS. The Templar's there. I don't know if he's going to have Storm or not. Yes, he does. Oh, that's unfortunate from Zerg here. Pushing in, trying to snipe a little bit too much, but that DT is the problem. That does a lot of damage. Can't see what kind of kills he has. Again, that Overlord is a little bit out of position here. The DT is just ripping through everything. That's unfortunate from the human error. That's too bad. A little bit going here. That base is being spotted. Everything's being pushed down there. And yeah, this DT is also hanging out outside of range here. But the Corsair, these Corsairs aren't really being used. They're just being used as a distraction. So they haven't actually engaged the Overlords, which is a shame. They just use the scouting tools, very expensive scouting tools. Nevertheless, making some Archons. But yeah, this base was cancelled, but there aren't a lot of things here. Poor old Zerg has a bit of an issue here. A lot of bases, but the supply difference is slowly hurting. This DT is going to get some more kills before getting taken out. More Hydras, but at this point there should be some lurkers. There should be some other. I mean, yeah, there were not too many Corsairs. That's the thing. If there were Mutalisks, I mean, look at this. Look at this. Just sitting there and then running away from the Hydra. Oh, that's unfortunate. Again, the DTs are doing so much. Get that Overlord over there. It's being cleaned up. That's a shame. Still no Overlords. Now there are some Overlords. DT is just gonna pass through. We're now engaged. Oh! Now the Corsairs are going to engage. They have been awakened. A single Hydra. I guess it outweighs the. I don't know what made. What is the linchpin here? What is the moment that is okay? Corsairs are now going to engage because apparently they're important now. They weren't before. They're gonna spread out. Applying the right amount of force. Now there are no Overlords here, so that's gonna be a shame. That's now the Corsairs have engaged with the main army. Now there's a push, and they're going straight for the Overlords, and actually sacrificing themselves to kill one here. There's two more, and in the meantime, the Zealots are going to engage, and they are gonna. Not quite supply block yet. There's a lot of... Now there's a full engagement. Even storming the Overlords. Immediately turning it into an Archon here, pushing through. A lot of Zealots, a lot of Overlords have been made here. And they're in the base. Oh, look at that immaculate storming. Very difficult to do. Yeah, now the Supply deficit is a little hurting. This base is now operational. There's a mineral only here as well. Just covering that. Those are just zealots. Streaming in. Storms are going to get really dangerous. Corsairs, are more being made? No. Just Gateway Man. That was an interesting storm. There's a lot of Hydras here. It's still the supply difference. It's a little grim, but there's a lot of spread forces. There's some static defenses here. He is very spread. But again, these DTs are doing so much work. And now the Corsairs... There's only 2 Corsairs, so really they shouldn't be a problem. There's the Overlords, yeah. Keep them. DT's gonna slip by again. He's got forces all over the place. He doesn't really... They go to a similar location and they whittle it down. Kind of like the original Brood Warrior, I guess. Just have them everywhere. Except there's no set trigger, right? I was wondering what... Those Corsairs could have decimated Zerg by just harrying the Overlords time and time again and forcing investment in sunken colony, in spore colonies. And again now, there's not enough production here, I think. Yeah, there's more hatcheries being built. There's a goon harrying this area here, but there's sunken colony, so it doesn't want to engage. The Overlords again, good storms as well, and that's going to probably spell defeat here because, yeah, it's whittling down, right? You can't catch up. He's got 600 in the bank. That should have probably been more hatcheries because the supply just can't keep up. Now one of the bases gets taken out in terms of mining. See, these Corsairs again just scooting about. No gas there, but... Just the Hydras are the problem here, I think. I mean, a good group... Hell, even Ultralisks, right? There's not enough coherence to really defeat a single push. It's all whittling down and bringing down through... Oh, jeez, those storms. Through attrition, really. Now he's finally got that ramp. He's gonna break in here. Yeah. Breaking through. Gone completely through the economy here. Not enough to build that. Now on this end as well, just being overwhelmed. So yeah, and that's where the game ends. So really, it's the 20,000 APM, right? It's the individual unit control and attacking on multiple ends, on multiple fronts. But really, they not taking favorable trades as much. I think the only thing that really cost the momentum here was the fact that those DTs were doing so well, even though the Corsairs weren't activated. So that's a mistake. Let's look at how the AI performed, right? So the Corsairs were a thing from the very start, but didn't really get anything except a threat and some scouting. So those Corsairs weren't activated. They were in avoidance mode the entire time. And here's me wondering if they are on avoidance for as long as there are potential threats around the Overlords, right? To not sacrifice much. I don't know in depth how those AIs think. Like if they take into account shielding, like we can harry a little bit and then back off when the shields are depleted, something like that, or consider the trade. That was strange. Initial investment in the cannons and then just snowballing. Again, giving Mutalisks probably could have been a thing because, I don't know, there weren't that many cannons here. The cannon placement at the top was clearly premeditated. And here as well, just probably have detection cover or something. Or just general cover. But yeah, the dancing in the middle was also interesting with the zealots, constantly back and forth, like taking ground and releasing it, trying to get this base up, and then eventually doing so and pushing. But also realizing that when there were too many Zerglings, completely backing off all the way bank. But once the tech started arriving, let's say, with the Templar and stuff, then it became really hard because, of course, the storming was impeccable. And the value that Protoss gets from good storms just annihilates Zerg, unless the human in question here, playing the Zerg, has enough macro to deal with these piecemeal attacks that just whittle away. And there was never a critical mass for the Red Zerg here. Otherwise, I think that would have been a win. Now, the thing is, the reason why I've been given these matches is because the AI won. Because there are very easy to see exploits, right? I mean, this base, for instance, if there would have been Hive, if there would have been some Lings, this, hell, just a backdoor Hydra push here, and this is gone. Couple of Lings here, and this is gone. Because 2 cannons are not going to do anything. It is the tug of war of these immaculately microed units that eventually brings down the human player. And I think that was because of the DTs and the fact that the Corsairs were not a threat for about half the game. So there was no reason not to have overlords everywhere. Even before, there was a window where the lurkers could have mattered. I think with this amount of storm being used, I mean, Purplewave is not cheating on minerals, so his gas is very low because he's invested a lot, and I mean a lot, in. And yes, I know there's a production panel here. I should probably use this next time, but I didn't want it to clutter up the area. Don't know if you can move this. No. So yeah, you can check upgrades. So yeah, all of those things, and I could have seen with the speed and stuff. I just forgot in the heat of my moment. I don't know if the army production upgrades. Oh yeah, these are the things, right? All right, good. So, all right, I'm gonna do one more of these. That's probably going to be posted a little later. And yeah, this is interesting because this is cutting edge on a 20-year-old, 24-year-old game. I'm going 23? 23. All right, see you next time.